If he takes a little bit of burst or he takes a bleed, he can shield it, block the damage out, and yeah, he'll be in a decent shape by playing a little bit safely, just trying to keep his health bar up.
So we see right now in the game, the junglers, they've made their presence in the lane scene. We did see a kill come from that, like you said, Unstoppable. And St. Vicious playing very aggressive right now, and Unstoppable able to help coming up in that first one. We'll have to see what he can do. They're moving up towards the top. Nijaki sees that, and it looks like he's going to be going around with the movement from Nijaki and the vision of the creeps in middle. Very smart by Unstoppable to keep his vision not tunneled on where he was going.
Yeah, so let's take actually a closer look at some of these lane matchups. Right now, we're looking at the mid lane. It's Salsi on Orianna and Nijaki on Cassiopeia. Now, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because these champions are entirely reliant on skill shots. They need to aim the abilities and have them actually strike the model. They can't just click on a guy and it's like, oh, here's some free damage and a stun. No, thank you. No, they've got to actually aim and make sure that they collide with each other and that, you know, the poison hits or the ball hits. It's a very skill-based matchup, and both these champions have a lot of area of effect. And we talked about that last time a little bit, where Salsi wanted to keep pushing to the turret and then assisting, you know, his teammates elsewhere in the map. It's a similar situation here, where these guys can crush down these minion waves very, very easily. They can also kill each other very fast. Salsi puts that ball up there, wants to use it to zone Cassiopeia out a little bit. Not quite going to do too much damage, but these guys can crush minion waves down and they can move on. They can take jungle camps or they can gank a little bit later.
So it looks like we do have some backing. Wings of Death picking up some potions there, moving around his inventory so he can get back to lane and sustain. Unstoppable Axe more than happy to soak up this experience as the jungler. And it's really going to help him to scale with his team into the game. The jungler's usually either a level behind or just with your dual lanes. So if they can be tankier, they're able to take so much more damage. And like Saint said, if somebody's going to die in the fight, it's fine to be the jungler.
Yeah, unless the guy has an Oracle. Right now, I don't believe either side has that just. No, actually, Saint does. Saint has an Oracles. So, you know, this is the one case where TSM Evo would love to just trade kills and take away the Oracles from St. Vicious. That would be awesome for them. But, you know, unlike last game where it was Unstoppable going through and sweeping wards and kind of blinding the other team, it's actually St. Vicious this time who's going to play that role. And we'll see if he can make gigs happen as a result.
So here's something that Wings of Death can really just do in his lane. Darius obviously not dealing any ability power damage. You see him going for the quick chain vest after he got the Heart of Gold gold generation item. So he's going to be able to sustain in lane if he's missing creeps. That gold generation item is going to help him out a little bit, but we've just seen him using that shield, Vorpal Blade to harass, quick basic attacks to get his CS down, and he's actually doing quite well. 53 over Darius's 48. Westrice was killed in lane, so it set him back a little bit, and we can see that he is playing a little less aggressive now, not showing himself as much until, bam, he can pick up that CS.
Yeah, but ultimately, I actually, in the end, don't like Westrice's pick here. Now, I thought it was going to make a lot of sense in Champions. Playing Darius is a great lane against Shen overall. Can easily deal a lot of damage and actually kind of overpower the natural sustain that Shen has. The problem is, Shen's late game is great. He's got so much support, so much tankiness. Shen is just a phenomenal late game champion overall. But you pick Darius in order to win your lane. Well, Westrice, thanks to Unstoppable X's help, Westrice is not going to win that lane. He's behind Shen, and he will continue to do so ultimately, unless there's some support either from the jungler or from his mid lane. Is that Curse is not having a great time at this top lane, and so Curse, they need to get their advantage somewhere else. Someone else needs to step up and really push a lead, because they're down 1,000 gold, and that advantage is not going to shrink on its own.
And a quick boots of mobility going out to Nautilus. As you were saying about that Shen, the Frozen Heart build, that area of effect, attack speed slow is going to be huge, especially with Nunu on the other team. You can see him backing there. He's not too worried about what's going to happen. They know they can't kill Unstoppable X right now. It probably won't happen. No mana there. They were just making sure that nothing went wrong, and he kind of acted as a ward up top for Westrice at the time. Westrice is going to actually look like he may be backing or waiting for his lane to push, as he knows he can't continue to be aggressive.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get ganked up there. He's got zero map vision whatsoever. You saw that Saint tried to wait in the brush for a second to see if a gank would happen. It didn't, so he backed off, went back to base, no big deal. But you're seeing these lanes, they're actually staying pretty equal here. Let's check, we're looking at, the jungler coming through here. Unstoppable finally has his own Oracle. He wants to assist this bottom lane right here. Now, of course, Curse won't play aggressively here. They know Unstoppable's waiting in the wings. But if you can sneak in, I don't know, that might just work. He's just blindly walking to the brush, not care too much. And Saint is actually going to follow suit and just show up in this lane. So suddenly it's a 3 versus 3 at the bottom here.
No, I really like what Unstoppable's doing. He's saying, yeah, you see me, but I'm going to be able to take out your wards. Go ahead, put down more. It's good money to waste, good money for me. Westrice, his damage trade not going in his favor. He's stopping all the damage here. Saint's not even up there to help him right now. Maybe he's trying to draw him into the turret. They are both over level 6, so they have their ultimates. That's when you get that ability. You can see Saint is actually heading top. He's blood-boiled Cassiopeia on the way, so Nijaki gets a little bit of attack and movement speed. And we'll have to see how these lanes fare right now. It's 91 to 100 for the AD carries. They're both doing quite well, and actually not even hitting up the same build yet. Westrice taking the Ignite ticks down as they get very close. Taunts in, one more Vorpal Blade, and it is going to be Wings of Death playing that one very smart, knowing how much damage he could take, and Westrice kind of sat himself in front of the turret. He had less room to run in turret range, and Wings of Death said, if I'm only going to take 2 for this, I'm getting myself some gold.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal move overall by Wings on Shen. He knew, when his cooldowns are coming back up, okay, I have dash, I have everything, let's do it, and flash initiate, go. Damage everywhere, pick up a kill. Just phenomenal job. Wings of Death bringing out the 2-0 score right now, which is what we saw the first time. Again, that first game opened up with Wings ahead of Westrice, and he's done it again. But now, what's going to happen in this mid game? Mid game is when First turns it on. Salsi just barely getting away from that ultimate. Nice turn back there, puts the shield on as well. And he's going to block all that initiation. Nijaki burned his flash, he burned his ultimate. Salsi did flash as well, but still, it's one ultimate down. The mid-game comeback has not yet happened here for Curse.
Yeah, the AP minutes. Oh, very nice Orianna ulti there. Trying to harass, but Westrice comes in with the apprehend. Here comes Wings of Death, just getting himself a kill, coming back into lane, gets out that Vorpal Blade, and it is actually still chunking quite a bit of damage off of Westrice. Very nice job in communication by the team there. We can see that Wings of Death with his 81 CS over the 73 of Westrice and 2 kills is going for that Sunfire build. He wants to be able to push his lane, and they're definitely focusing on that split push composition as they come into the late game.
Oh yeah, the late game for Team Solo Mid is going to be great because they have that global teleport from Shen. Just like with Twisted Fate, you can make that late game by split pushing 1 versus 5, and when the enemies show up, you just teleport away, no big deal. You can survive that very easily, and then show up to your team for a 5 versus 5 later on. You can get some free turret kills that way, you get a lot of golden experience that way. Expect to see Wings of Death off by himself on one lane, where the rest of his team is off by themselves on the other side of the map. That's going to be a very key strategy here for Evo, and if Curse can stop that, well, they're going to need to stop it ultimately. That they're not going to be good. Not going to be in good shape if they can't stop these pushes.
14 minutes into the match now, 2,000 gold up for TSM Evo, and they also have 2 kills. There's really 100% less turret focus in this matchup than there was last time. TSM is trying to keep these lanes composed, and they're really pushing back hard. They have a lot of focus on that top lane as well. Very nice job with the first blood there, and they're continuing to pressure that lane. They do not want Westrice to come back. Darius can still scale in the late game. This is not over for Westrice, but we have to look that he is forced to apply 2 Doran's blades to Wings of Death, Giant's Belt, and that armor, as well as the gold generation item, and he has the Ninja Tabi to mitigate that damage as well. So like I said, that 1 factor of damage, the armor, can quickly be mitigated, and you see Wings of Death hardly taking any.
Yeah, and Wings wants to rush for that Sunfire Cape. It's going to add a lot of things to his gameplay. Number 1 is that Sunfire Cape just passively damages everything around him. Every second they take 40 damage, and so if he sits in a mini wave like he's doing right there, they'll just burn down, and he can push down to the turret. And again, we just talked about how Wings on Shen wants to split push. He wants to be on his own, crushing minion waves and taking out turrets. If he can take out minions faster, he can take out turrets faster, and it's a great advantage for him. Additionally, having health and armor just makes him fight better, and the way these battles are going on between him and Westrice on Darius is their long-term battles. So, he does not want to die to those.
And there it is, Curse gaining the first dragon of the game up at 21-23 will be your next dragon, but there is the objective control. They may be behind a little bit of gold, but they just made up 1,000. So if they can do that again in 6 minutes, they're going to be able to really put themselves back into this game. The items really in favor, however, of TSM Evo. You have that Glass Cannon Orianna coming out, the quickly needlessly large rod. And we also have the Blasting Wand on Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia able to output a lot more damage faster, so she can still contest in that fight as Orianna waits for her cooldowns. Cassiopeia is on that 0.5 second double Fang cooldown if her opponent is poisoned. That AP mid lane, again, probably not going to fight each other too much as they just expend their flashes to get out of the fight, because both know they can do some huge damage.
And here comes Nation at the top lane. Saint Vision is waiting around, will land the Ice Blast. Wings so incredibly slowed, has to pop his ultimate to try to teleport out, and he will make it, but he's been ignited and he's bleeding. And it looks like he will just survive barely. Unstoppable now stuck in a 1 versus 2 at this top lane turret. Looks like he will survive it overall and pick up these minion kills. Wings barely making the escape there. Great timing on that ultimate to teleport out and not take too much damage.
Yeah, it was a great idea by him. Obviously, the 4 skill set of both champions on him went into play. He's like, can they stun me? I'm out of here. Stand united, and he went right to Nautilus on Unstoppable X, or Unstoppable X on Nautilus. So we just cresting that 15-minute mark on the game. We can see that these builds don't have a lot of defense for any of the attack damage carries or AP carries. They're really going for strength right now. They know they have that tanky front line on both sides. They have that Nunu to come out. They have that Alistar, as well as the Nautilus and Shen on the opposing team. So a lot of the carries are focusing on so much damage and saying, hey, you know what? We'll get a sustained late game. We'll get our Guardian Angel late game if we even want one, if we even need one. So right now the builds are really just going in the favor of damage, and the tanky front lines are trying to build themselves up. Elements with the headbutt out, the pulverize. Can they still get the anchor toss? It's well within range, and it just dodges over the left shoulder of Elements as we see that presence from Unstoppable X down in bottom.
And the top lane, though, again, a fight happening here. Now, no kill had happened last time, so I feel like Wings of Death is still just stronger than Westrice, and you're seeing that here. Westrice dropped to about 2/3 health, and he's just taking a lot of damage overall. Just, kind of chilling his bottom lane, and they've still kept this bottom lane very close. It's a 14 minion kill difference with 165 on Ezreal, looking for an early Bloodthirster possibly. And meanwhile, you've got that Corki who's going for the early Trinity Force. We saw that last time where Cop went for Trinity Force, and he just got so far ahead in that game. But this time, he's not winning his lane very hard. He doesn't have those 2 early turret kills, doesn't have the gigantic minion kill advantage. And so this time around, with Mashmi going for a more late game oriented build with that BF sword, he's actually going to reach that late game at an appreciable time, and then mid game's going to be a little bit easier. But again, this top lane, Ice Blast comes out. Wings not going to like this. He does not have an ultimate available. His dash comes out. He will not flash as well, though. He's still going to take a lot of damage under this turret. Flash coming out on all sides. And here comes Unstoppable from the back. Saint's going to get rooted in place. The ultimate comes off as well. Can they do enough damage? Westrice is still around. He's going to dash in, and here comes Salsi on Orianna. So much damage. There is one picked up. Saint Digital ult is blocked out. Will they do enough damage? He's 1-2 hits from dead. He's running back to the turret. Nijak, he fires back on a Salsi, though, picks that one up. Saint, 1 hit from dead, and they will make that a 2-for-1. Will they continue on? This Orianna has been killed already, but Cassiopeia is going to make it back to her turret.
Very nice job. They were able to pull back out of that one. The Ezreal ulti going up towards that top lane. Cass quite hurt, passing through, but just not doing enough. She still has a sliver of health left, and Nijaki able to make it out alive. Great counter presence by the other team. They were able to come up. We saw it was a 2v1, then it turned into a 3v3 instantly, but Darius went down fast. The focus was onto Nunu. Kind of confused me for a bit. Darius was low, taking quite a bit of damage, but they just didn't want Nunu slow, the utility in that fight, and they focused on him last, knowing Darius could still put out some damage if they were to leave him untouched.
Yeah, but, they ultimately did bring him on down, and you can just see the advantages are actually snowballing here for TSM Evo. They're up about 3,000 gold, and unspoken there is the fact that they've removed St. Vicious's Oracle. Normally that elixir lasts forever as you see invisibility, but when you die, it gets removed from your champion. He had to spend another 400 gold to rebuy that. He wants to have that advantage on himself. He wants to be able to see wards. He wants to deny vision. Unstoppable, again, has that Oracles, but he hasn't actually fallen